Hey everybody, it's Blue here from Blue Bears Games, and for this week's videos I will be unboxing and then upgrading the Modern Horizons 3 Trickt Terrain Commander precon. Before I get to today's video, I want to first take a moment to ask for your help in supporting my channel. The easiest and cheapest ways to show your support are by liking my videos, subscribing to the channel if you haven't yet, sharing any of my content on your socials, and or by watching some of my many other videos that I've created over the years. Additionally, you can support the channel by purchasing Super Thanks, channel memberships, decks that you may have seen on the channel directly from me on the Blue Bears Games Facebook page, and or visiting our sponsor, Arcane Fortress, by using the link that just popped up at the top of your screen and purchasing any of their amazing gaming supplies from them. By using that link specifically, you should receive a 5% discount store-wide. And finally, the last thing you can possibly do to help the channel out is through donations of extra cards that you may have just lying around. Even your bulkiest of bulk will help immensely, so if you'd like to donate to the channel, please message me on the Blue Bears Games Facebook page or email me at bluebearsgames@gmail.com and we can discuss the logistics of how. Anything you can do to help support my small channel is greatly appreciated, and I thank you for it. Now with that out of the way, let's begin. Today's video will be the unboxing of the precon, where I'll show you everything that comes in the box, including the deck card by card. And then tomorrow's video will be my upgrade guide, where I'll go over some options for what I believe you should take out and then add back in to help make the deck either more fun to play a little better, or best case scenario, both. This deck's color identity is blue and green, also known as Simic, and uses Omo, Queen of Vesuva, as the commander. Omo is 1 hybrid blue or green and 2 generic mana to cast for a 1/5 legendary shapeshifter noble with 3 very unique abilities. The first ability says that whenever Omo enters or attacks, put an everything counter on each of up to 1 target land and up to 1 target creature. The second ability says that each land with an everything counter on it is every land type in addition to its other types. And finally, the third ability says that each non-land creature with an everything counter on it is every creature type. The first thing I want to do is point out that none of these abilities seem to give a way to win. As unique as this set of abilities are, they lack anything that could be considered threatening. That leads me to believe that it's possible the way to win is with the lands through landfall abilities. It also could mean that the deck may not be entirely reliant on the commander, but is instead enhanced by its presence. There could also be a completely different and new way to win using lands, so who knows. This is all speculation, of course, so why don't we just get started and I'll show you what's in the box. Alright, so here's what the outside of the box looks like. It says Trickt Terrain, Ramp Lands, Grow Value. On the back of the box, it has a picture of Omo, really small, I can't read it, that's why I read it to you earlier. But let's open it up and we'll take a look at everything inside. Alright, this is what the little insert that holds everything looks like. It has the 2 really useless things in the front, and then on the back it has 3 +1/+1 counters and 3 Planeswalker symbol counters. Here's the insert. It says Trickt Terrain on it because that's what the deck is. I believe this is the secondary commander, who we'll show you in a second. Has extra commander rules, and then on the other side it's like a poster of Omo. Technically you can just fold this part in and hang it up if you want. I use these as little dividers in all of my boxes, or right now some of them are just sitting there doing nothing. Here's a little insert that came with it that has what looks like the life wheel, a generic life wheel, so that's nice. The deck box, which takes a second to put back together. I'm still amazed that they actually changed the free box that comes with every deck, and they went from the crappy ones that were glue ridden to these ones that are just you fold back together. Anyway, has the Simic colors on the front. The Planeswalker symbols are always on the sides now, and then a picture of, I'm going to assume that's commander, I could be wrong, and then magic on the top. And then the last 2 things are the sample pack and the deck. So let's open the sample pack first. Let me zoom so you can actually see what I'm pulling here. Fingers crossed. Alright. Azlask, the Swelling Scourge, is the first one. That's actually pretty good. And then a Line Umbra Retro Foil. That might not be too bad. I don't know the value, but I will have it up there for you. You're not here for that, though. This isn't a collector's booster pack opening. This is a commander deck opening, so let's just get to that. I'm going to split the deck in half, and then we'll get started. So, we have Omo here. We already know. Oh, that's just a up-close picture of Omo. Okay, I couldn't tell. So the front of it and the other side of it, it's all Omo on the inserts and everything. We already went over Omo. I just didn't recognize it because it was up close. The secondary commander is called, and I think that says Ioti Moag Ancient. I could be wrong. I can't tell if that's an I, an L, or a J. If I'm wrong, you'll let me know. This is a 1 green, 1 blue, and 2 generic mana for a 2/4 legendary elemental that says, and oh, it's a J, so Geode. It says, when Geode Moag Ancient enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green forest dryad land creature token for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. And another ability that says at the beginning of each combat, land creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Geode's power. So it creates Dryad Arbors. Now for the rest of the deck. So we're going to have a bunch of reprints, I'm sure. Something like Fog Bank, that's a reprint. Urza's Power Plant, I assume this will have Urzatron, so there's the tower and there's the mine. Satyr Wayfinder for land fetching. Arcane Denial, counter magic. Simic Guildgate, Treasure Cruise, Soul Ring, Basilisk Gate, Beast Within, Tatiova Benthic Druid, Propaganda, Simic Growth Chamber, Floriferous Vinewall. I believe this is new. If it's not, excuse me, I'm still going to read it. I don't recognize it. It's a 2-cast 0/2 plant wall that has Defender, and an ability that says when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a land card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Arcane Signet, Desert of the Indomitable, so reprints all around. Haship Oasis, March of Velis Vel. I don't recognize it, but I don't believe that this is new. It's a 30-cast sorcerer that says choose a non-basic land type. Each land you control of that type becomes a copy of target creature that you control until end of turn, and it gains haste until end of turn, and you can flash it back. Wanderscape Sage, 2-cast 1/3 Moonfolk Wizard with flying, and an ability that says you can tap it and return a land you control to its owner's hand to draw a card, then discard a card unless that land had a non-basic land type. Copy land. 30-cast enchantment that says you may have copy land enter the battlefield as a copy of any land on the battlefield, except it's an enchantment in addition to its other types, which is pretty obvious since it says copy land is the name, so basically it just copies the land. Desert Warfare, I believe this was in a recent precon as well. Trench Post is a land that enters the battlefield untapped. It is a locus. It taps to add a colorless, and then you can pay 3 and tap it to have target player mill a card for each locus you control. Sage of the Maze, a 3-cast 1/3 elf wizard that you can tap it to add 2 mana in any combination of colors, or you can tap it and until end of turn, target land you control becomes an XX citizen creature with haste in addition to its other types, where X is twice the number of gates you control, but you can only activate this as a sorcery. Lazotep Quarry, I believe that's just a reprint with a new picture. Rambit Frogantua. This is a 3-cast 3/3 frog with trample. It gets +10/+10 for each player who has lost the game. Okay. And then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may mill that many cards. Put any number of land cards from among the milled cards onto the battlefield tapped. Sunken Palace. This is a cave land that enters the battlefield tapped. Taps to add a blue, and then you can pay a blue and a generic and tap it to exile 7 cards from your graveyard and add a blue. Then when you spend this mana to cast a spell or activate an ability, copy that spell or ability, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Horizon Progress. This is a land that has 3 abilities. First one says you can tap it and pay life to add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. Or you can pay 3 and tap it, and you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Or the last ability says you can pay 1, tap it, and sacrifice it to draw a card. Planar Nexus. Aggressive Biomancy. Don't recognize this one either. This is 1 green, 1 blue, and double X. And for those that don't understand how double X works, basically what it means is that whatever your value for X is, you pay double. So if you want the value of X to be 1, you pay 2. If you want the value of X to be 2, you pay 4, and so on and so on. This is a sorcery that says create X tokens that are copies of target creature that you control, except they have, when this creature enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 target creature that you don't control. Talon Gates of Madara. You know what? I don't recognize this. That doesn't mean it's not a reprint. I'm still going to read it. This is a gate land, which is great because I love when they give us new gates. It says when it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target creature phases out. It taps to add a colorless mana, or you can pay 1 and tap it to add 1 mana of any color. And then it has an ability that for 4 you can put it from your hand onto the battlefield, which is weird because, you know, it's not casting it, it's just putting it into play. Hydroid Krasis, I do know for a fact that is a reprint. It used to be a Chase Mythic. Terrastodon, Lair of the Hydra, so a couple more reprints. Nissa, Steward of Elements, Magus of the Candelabra, Lumbering Falls, Blast Zone, Apex Devastator, Dreamroot Cascade, Summary Dismissal. I don't know if this is a reprint. So it's a 4 to cast instance that says exile all other spells and counter all abilities. Yavimaya Coast, Flooded Grove, Hour of Promise, Ramanop, Excavator, Hydra Broodmaster, Drown in Dreams. It's a good reprint. Vine Glimmer Snarl, Vivian Reed, Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. This is the green version, or the forest version that makes each land a forest in addition to its other types. Dryad of the Elysian Grove with a newer picture. Mirage Mirror, Overflowing Basin, Temple of Mystery, Boo, Chromatic Lantern, great reprint. Oblivion Stone, Scoot Swarm, that makes sense. Alright, that was the first half. Flying through this. Ulvenwald Hydra, Evacuation, Replication Technique, Finale of Revelation, Mana Reflection, Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Lots of reprints here. Curse of the Swine, Vesuva, that makes sense. Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, Avenger of Zendikar, Seer Sundial, lots of land-based stuff with landfall and other things. Rampaging Hydra, Expedition Map, Hidden Cataract, Hidden Nursery, Volatile Fault, Growth Spiral, Elvish Rejuvenator, Urban Evolution, lots of reprints. Harmonize, great reprint. Thornwood Falls, Cloud Post, Sylvan Scrying, Acidic Slime, Pongify, Lush Oasis, Skullwinder, Desert of the Mindful, Command Tower, Poison Dart Frog, cute little guy. Glimmer Post, so that completes the Locust set, I believe that's all of them. Eureka Moment, Quandrix Campus. Looks like we're probably into just the basics now, so islands and forests. Yep. A lot of non-basic lands. That wasn't a lot of basics here. That's, what, 4 and 3? That's 7 basics, which means that there's a lot of non-basic in this deck, and for good reason. Next up is the thick version of Omo, which, you know, I can't believe they went back to, or I'm just doing this out of order. And then we have tokens. So Merit Lage, Ape, Forest Dryad, couple of beasts, zombie, Hydra, another zombie, another beast, another Forest Dryad. Backside of them, we have an emblem for Vivian Reed, elephant, plant, boar, another elephant, insect, copy, another boar, another plant, and a sand warrior. And that, my friends, is what comes in the Modern Horizons 3 Trickt Terrain Commander precon. Well, that was different. I fully expected the usual landfall suspects like Scoot Swarm and Avenger of Zendikar to be present like they were. However, the land choices confused me a little. I get that the idea here was to have every type of non-basic land to fit the theme, but not every non-basic land type has effects that bounce off each other like the Locust or Gateland do. The biggest issue that I see for this deck is it relies on the commander either entering play repeatedly or attacking and surviving the attack turn after turn to function as intended. That's a pretty big ask for a deck helmed by a commander with no real win condition. On the plus side, they did include the combo of Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, so technically I was right when I said earlier that the deck probably uses lands to win. I guess that means I can skip the combo part of tomorrow's upgrade guide, but I probably won't. Speaking of the upgrade guide, I think I'm going to have to start researching non-basic lands that act kind of like slivers do, and by that I mean that each one of them in play helps the others. I'm not saying that's entirely what I'll do for the guide, but it's a starting point. There are other avenues I can go in as well, like your basic landfall build, but I'd rather look into more unique ways of going at it first before I fall back onto the tried and true. Whatever I decide to do will take some time and research, so if you want to see what it is that I come up with, you'll have to come back tomorrow to see. Well folks, that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, but if you're looking for more Magic related content to watch, please go browse through my channel and take a look at some of my many other videos. I've made quite a lot of them over the years that I think you'll enjoy, and then please be sure to come back tomorrow for that upgrade guide. Before you go though, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you can be notified of any time that I release new content, which is typically every Friday and occasionally on Saturdays. Have a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow.